All right, I'm gonna go over a couple of different types of AK handguards that we have to kind of clear up any confusion that might be out there. So generally everything out there is on the that we've been selling for a few years is the Solo series, and now we have the Ion series. And at first glance they look pretty similar, but the Ion is a different extrusion. It's a 7-sided extrusion. The Solo, which is in this hand here, has these lines that are built in the extrusion, just like our AR Solo extrusion. The Ion is flat side, so the diameter is just about the same. It's just a little bit different look. You know, this one has the logo on it, and that's really all the difference is. From 10 feet away, you probably can't tell the difference, but it's just a little different. Give people more options. In our handguard selection, there's 3 main types. There's A, B, and S. And those determine if you have a sling loop and where it is, or no sling loop, or a handguard retainer or no handguard retainer. So the A version handguards have a cutout here for the handguard retainer sling loop, like on this Draco here. And that's in your standard position. You know, all AKs, most of them except for like the M70s, have it in this location. If you don't want to remove it, you just pick an A handguard and it'll drop right in, no mods necessary. You can also just remove the sling loop and leave the handguard retainer and run an S version handguard. That's what these little cutouts for here, to allow the handguard retainer to stay there but not have a sling loop. So a lot of guns don't have them, so the S version is better, but if you want to remove it and get a really clean look, you pick an S version handguard. The only difference in the handguard is that, you know, compared to an A handguard, is it doesn't have the cutout. And then the last type we have is the B version handguard, which has the cutout here. And this is compared to an A, which is here. The B version has the cutout at the gas block. A lot of the C39s and some other AKs out there have RAS 47s have the handguard, have the sling loop on the gas block itself. So that cutout is there. Again, if you don't want that, you just remove it, just cut it off with a Dremel, clean it up, and pick an S version handguard that has no cutouts in it. Say you want the handguard and you got a 16-inch barrel, and you want the handguard to go all the way to the end, kind of like this. You'd want a 13.5 handguard. What I tell people is you add a 1/2 inch to any of the stated handguard lengths. Like this is a 9-inch, this is a 10.5, this is a 13.5. Add a 1/2 inch to the length, and that's the true length. So because the mount, which goes in the back, this is our handguard mount, and there's different mounts, you know, are in the spec for each handguard listing, what mount goes with which handguard or which rifle. When you put in the mount in the back, it adds about a 1/2 inch. So that's why I say, if you're trying to figure out what length handguard you want, just pick one of the handguards and add a 1/2 inch to it, and measure from the front of your receiver out onto your barrel. And wherever that ends up, if you look at it, a 9-inch handguard, measure out 9.5 inches, and you'll see where it ends up on your barrel. These are both SBRs, so they're running 9-inch handguards, and that's about the max length for them. If you don't pick a gas tube, you don't have to pick the gas tube to run our handguards. You know, you see our gas tube here with the optic mounted on it. If you don't pick that option, then you'll get a clamp piece that goes in place where the gas tube goes, and you can run, you know, your standard gas tube underneath that. That'll come with the handguard if you don't pick the gas tube. All right, lastly, if you want to run an Ultimac gas tube instead of ours, maybe you already have the Ultimac, whatnot, that's just fine. The Ultimac will work on all of our handguards. The Ultimac is compatible, except for the Ultimac for the M92, because the offset on the front sight block is different. It doesn't work. But if you want to run the Ultimac, you know, standard tube, you put the Ultimac on, you put our handguard on, you run on the Ultimac the front loop bolts, you put that in, and then the back of the Ultimac you just run you can request longer bolts from us. The rear Ultimac mounting holes, you just put the bolts through and it'll mount right into our mount. Functions just fine, works perfectly.